Hello, my absolutely beautiful Aries friends, and welcome to your horoscope for June of 2021, where this month we've got another eclipse happening, which is in the opposing energy that our May eclipse happened in. So we're still working on this Gemini-Sagittarian axis, which has a lot to do about truth and knowledge and information. So we're going to continue to have an experience with that. But this month we're also going to welcome the next Saturn-Uranus square, Jupiter and Neptune into retrograde. And with those two stepping into retrograde, we get a signal that June and moving forward into July are actually a time where we're going to be looking forward at facing delays of things that have come up from the past. We get permission in these particular sets of energies and these timings of the year to slow down a little, expect the delays, and readjust as we need to, while at the same time having new information revealed to us. So let's get in here and start talking about what's going on for us this month, okay? Right at the beginning of the month, Aries, on the 2nd, we're going to see Venus moving into the energy of Cancer. This lights up your 4th house space. Now, Venus in the energy of Cancer is very, very, very comfortable here. So this is an indicator right here at the beginning of the month that it's like, okay, maybe the affection, maybe the harmony, maybe the real love, and where you're looking to kind of have this delicious experience becomes a lot more focused in your 4th house. Home, family, real estate, property. And that's not to say that, up top in that midheaven zone at work and in the career and out in the world, things are not important, because I think they definitely still are. But it's an interesting energy here, Aries, especially since we're going to have this Saturn-Uranus square against this month. I feel like having the support and the rallying from home is something that you really need right now. Venus is bringing in a sweetness. She's bringing in a magnetism and affection for you, but also a support. So wherever you've needed to rebalance, or you've even needed the value of what's at home, or you maybe wanted to redecorate. Venus loves to redecorate. Wherever you felt like, or you just need some support in the home zone, maybe even with women in your life, Venus is definitely bringing in a sweetness. And speaking of bringing in a sweetness, Venus may just be bringing in a sweetness. She does love to eat a little bit in that energy of Cancer. So let me know how the Venus tour of your 4th house is going, okay? Now, on the 10th, we're going to have our next eclipse. This is going to be a new moon solar eclipse right across the street from the one that we had in May. So the last one was in Sagittarius. Now this one's going to be in the energy of Gemini. And so we're going to experience this eclipse at 19 degrees of Gemini. So I want you to grab your chart, see what you have at 19 degrees of Gemini, because it'll tell you what is being lit up at this particular time. Now there's something I think is extra special about this particular eclipse as well. It's actually going to be happening right in the middle of the Mercury retrograde cycle. And how we know that is that the Sun and Mercury are together. They're in this conjunction together, and then the eclipse is happening. Mercury is still retrograde at this time, so we know that this is significant, because not only is this the middle of the Mercury retrograde cycle, but it also is telling us at this eclipse what we're getting this fresh start of energy about is something our minds have already been on, and it is power packed having this new moon eclipse here. Now, the new moon eclipse itself is going to be happening in your 3rd house in this Gemini energy. So contracts, communication, education, documentation, selling things, writing books, anybody who's in like lower education or starting out, like maybe you're learning something for the first time, you're not at a higher level of education, these could bring some really new conversations to the table for you, but they're going to likely be over things that were already on the table with this Mercury retrograde. And that's something I really want to point out at this time, because that last lunar eclipse that we had in Sagittarius was about higher learning, beliefs, bigger concepts of travel and philosophy. And now this one is on the other side of that axis, where it's like, okay, I need to begin this, or I need to begin, it's a new moon, planting seeds of intention for something new to blossom over the next 6 months, but it'll be about the ways that you communicate or the ways that you have information. Another thought that I have at this particular moon, and I just want to throw it out here for you, Aries, is this could be bringing in new associations for you, new networking. There is a profound amount of energy that happened for my Aries friends in 2020 around the current identity that you're living in. And are you in alignment with the people and the networks and the support chains that can support you into stepping and really being in this next role? And I feel like so many Aries friends have been looking for that, craving that, and kind of waiting for the new buddies to roll in so that they do have that networking support to do that. But this very much so still speaks to new information, new education. And remember, as you plant your seeds of intention to begin something here, it won't just be in a 4-week term. This is the next 6 months. So I kind of think, go back to what happened in May at that lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. What did you see start to let go of? You were winding it down, or maybe you're even coming to a decision about it. And now you're getting the fresh start energy to get it going here at this particular eclipse, okay? On the 11th, we're going to see Mars, our action and energy planet, and your ruling planet move into the energy of Leo. So it lights up the 5th house space. This is play. This is joy. This is self-expression. This is definitely things to do with the children. It's summertime in the United States. It may be a different season depending on where you're at. But this is an energy where Mars in Leo gets moving. And it gets moving in a very big-hearted, kind of spirited kind of way. Now, you're going to have this energy in this particular area of also fresh starts, conception of things, whether that's children or businesses or hobbies or something you're ready to have a new beginning with, a new love, a new romance. And that doesn't have to be another person. It can be something that you're in love with and you're ready to express it and try it out there in the world. This energy is in your favor all the way until the end of July, so really enjoy it. Mars in a fire energy is looking to get some things done, but remember, Leo is fixed. So you're not necessarily working on anything new. It's maybe something you've had going and you're just ready to get it out there. You're ready to get it moving in the direction that it needs to be going, okay? Now, on the 14th, we're going to be heading into this Saturn and Uranus square. Now, this is going to be at 13 degrees of Aquarius and Taurus, respectively. So I want you to check that on your chart as well, because we did experience the first part of this 3-part squaring happening back in February at 7 degrees, okay? Now, the Saturn and Uranus square, one of the things that I continue to think of for you Aries folk is because it is squaring between your 11th house and your 2nd house. One of the ideas that continues to come up for me is with all of the identity work, with all of the what's my Aries name kind of work that happened in 2020, is this idea of like, where do I fit into this social arrangement, maybe my friendship groups, based on the new values that I'm acquiring or what I find valuable at this particular time. There could be some shakeups that have definitely happened in your social groups, your friendships and things like that. And it's almost put you under this energy of pressure and tension where you feel like I have to break out of this. There is a portion of me that needs to be free and I need to have my own independent autonomy over here, but I do value being a part of the group. So how do I bring dignity to the community that I'm in that also aligns with the values I believe in at this current time? So I do ask you again, go back to February between your groupings and your friendship groupings, your social groupings, and the values you had then. What did you start to see was kind of shaking out or was becoming into a state of innovation in your life? Because the square is definitely demanding some action from you for sure. Now, the other thing I want you to think about is that because this is a 3-part motion, you saw it in the breakdown, the frustration that this has to be different was really happening. We got the boom, the first hit here in February. Now here in June, it is again not something new. Saturn is retrograde at this time that they come together, whereas in February they were both in forward motion. Now Saturn is retrograde. So you're getting to look at this and say, in my social groups that I've been a part of, that I've had beliefs around, what is changing here? Where am I maturing? Where am I having to come to the next level and maybe say yes to some groupings, say no to some groupings? Where am I saying yes to some long range goals, maybe even financial goals that I didn't feel like I would be able to before? It's really a question of that. And then as we have the third hit of this, which will happen in December at 11 degrees of Aquarius, you'll get to see everything that got shook loose and all of the innovation that happened here. So just remember, this is a part of a cycle cycle. It's not a day that's just coming to whack you out of space. It can be frustrating, but we have been here. We are here. So pay attention to what's happening and the actions that you want to take in answering that question around these areas, okay? On the 20th is a little bit of a busy day. First of all, we're going to see Jupiter stepping into its retrograde in that Piscean energy. Now, he just moved into Pisces in May. And now he's going to be taking this retrograde. Now, Jupiter is going to retrograde at 2 degrees of Pisces. So he's just made a little sneak peek into that Piscean energy, and then he's going to retrograde. But at this particular time, it's going to be in your 12th house space, okay? So this is rest and retreat and rejuvenation and having a spiritual awakening. And as Jupiter snuck into Pisces just a couple degrees, I think you started to feel an expansion. I think Aries, this place of I can give, I want to bring this out of hiding. I want a life that's more creative. I want whatever it is, or this is something that has been on my mind. It's been keeping me mentally blocked and tight. Whatever it is, Jupiter showed it to you. Now in his retrograde, I think the wisdom that he brings to the table for you is that spirit has awakened at least just a little bit to say, what do I got to do to live that creative, beautiful, spiritual life? I think it was really a stirring. Now, we'll get to dive fully into that as we get into 2022, but I do think that Jupiter came and expanded you here, and that's a really beautiful thing. Also, on that same day, we're going to see the sun enter into the energy of Cancer. So now you've got the sun bringing light, heat, life, and vitality to this 4th house space. The home is going to get busy. Things about the home, who's in your home, what are they doing in the home? Do you need to finish that home project? Whatever it is, the abundant light source and the abundant motivation will be pointed towards your home zone, the women in your life, and things like that, okay? On the 22nd, we're going to see Mercury come direct in the energy of Gemini. Now, Mercury's been retrograde since the end of May. Now it's out of retrograde, and you get the opportunity here at 16 degrees of Gemini to look back over what did you see between 24 and 16 degrees of Mercury's retrograde? What were you working on? Right? What came to your attention that you had to review, re-edit, reconnect on or about? This again would have been in this 3rd house space. We've recently just had a solar eclipse in this space. So now your mind can come pointed forward and say, I saw what those eclipses were showing me. I am prepared now to walk this thing forward, make these decisions, start that class, write that entrance to my educational institution exam. If you have children who are needing to do summer school, Mercury direct will be a helper to them to maybe go ahead and absorb the information, things like that. Now, Mercury being a travel and business planet as well, should the planet be open and we're allowed to move around, this is actually going to be an indicator that shorter trips are going to be a little bit better if that's what you've got going on here in June, okay? On the 24th, we've got our full moon of the month, and this is going to be in the energy of Capricorn. The full moon says that something has to be ended, acknowledged, or adjusted. So we're going to make a 4-week shift here with the energy of Capricorn. And this is, of course, at the tip-top part of your chart, right? Right upstairs in the midheaven. Now, we've had all of these energies, and the sun is down here in your 4th house place. And we're going to get this full moon up in the top of your chart. And this is going to happen at 3 degrees of Capricorn, okay? Now, because this is the full moon in Capricorn, I think one of the questions it asks or it brings our attention to here is what needs to be ended, acknowledged, or adjusted. You need to make an adjustment to it because it's not actually helping you emotionally achieve. Right? And sometimes you've got this huge educational axis lit up in your chart right now, Aries, and in your energy. You know, like, where's your heart in it? Where's your heart in what you're doing, what you're studying, what you're putting out there into the world? And is it actually helping you achieve something you feel like is your vision and is your purpose? This full moon will definitely have you re-looking over those structures for sure. And I think that because Mercury is so heavily involved in this as well, you may have gotten news or information that allows you to have an ending to an old life and a beginning to a fresh start here with this Capricornian energy. Now, on the 24th, Neptune is going to head into retrograde at 23 degrees of Pisces, again in that 12th house space for you. But as we close out the month, we've got a superstar aspect with Venus moving into the energy of Leo as well. Now, Venus is still bringing that pleasure, so I wouldn't be surprised at all if something or someone romantic walks into your life enjoy it. Enjoy it, relax, spend some time here with Venus, just loving it up. Love on the kids, love the vacation, and enjoy the time, okay? All right, my beautiful Aries friends, I hope this finds you well.